Hi everyone, Dr. Karen here. We are talking about how do you drive employee engagement. Every week I do these videos for YouTube and for our community, and I actually quite love doing them because every week when I'm talking to organizations, to teams, there are themes that kind of come up. And the question that has come up this past week is around how do we actually drive employee engagement. And I love this topic because my background, I've worked with families for 10 years. I now work with companies globally. Understanding just human psychology, high performance is super helpful when we're talking around employee engagement. Why does somebody stay in a company and other people actually leave? And so let's start off with, I'm going to be giving you 10 practical strategies. Grab your pen and paper, and I will be sharing these with you. But what is a good metrics that we should be all kind of aiming for? This is one of the top questions. And depending on terms of your industry, 90% is with where we should be really aiming for. 90% retention with your employees. And so how do we do that? Because it's very costly. If we have to be replacing employees, depending on the source, basically it's around 21%. I talked about this in my book, The Three Chairs. If you haven't gotten a copy, I'm referencing from pages 102, chapter 10. It's all about employee engagement. Three chairs, and it's about 21%. That's how much it costs companies. Well, you have to replace somebody. Somebody's not happy. They're disgruntled. They quit. To all of a sudden now spend time and energy hiring, onboarding, training. It's 21% of a person's salary. That is a huge amount of revenue, of profit that companies are actually losing when they do not apply best practices. All right, so we're talking about best practices. Here we go. Number one. All right, everybody get your pen and paper. Number one. Clear communication. It's really important that employees know what is your vision, your values, your goals. Some companies use KPIs. We recommend OKRs. There's lots of different ways in terms of metrics, but you want to make sure that you have got clear, ongoing communication. You're going to get a lot more engagement when you actually know, when employees know what should they be focusing on. Okay, so that is number one. Number two. Talk about recognition and rewards. This is, again, so much. Honestly, I'm going to give you 10, but so many of these is just really about understanding human behavior. There's things that people need to know, and a lot of these are actually free. I forgot to mention that, okay? So a lot of these are actually free. So this is great news, especially for a lot of small businesses. So second one is recognition and rewards. So once people actually know, this is with where I need to be putting my focus. These are the goals. These are the things that I need to be working on. When they're doing a great job, you want to make sure that they're recognized, that verbal affirmation or that reward or that perk when they actually hit a target. People love to have a goal and have it recognized. Okay, so ask yourself, are you clear about the goals, and are you recognizing and rewarding when your employees are actually hitting their targets? That's number two. Number three, career development. Okay, so especially for the different generations, especially for your younger generations, they want to know, is there a place for me in this company? You know, especially for larger companies, even small companies, is there a place for them? Is there a way that they can develop their skills, their career path in your company? And if so, you want to work with them on. When I started doing work with organizations 20 years ago, and I started working with the multi-generations and really specialized with millennials, this is the area that they really wanted to know. You know, companies that did a really great job at navigating and showing and training people were much more likely to stay. Okay, so that is number three. Number four, work-life balance. This is going to be really big for your Gen X's. This is going to be really big for your Gen Ys, your Millennials, your Gen Zs. Again, if you need to get a reference for all the different generations, get the three chairs. Balance, you know, this whole issue around mental health, really important. Again, this is where my background in psychology is so helpful when doing organizational development, leadership development for companies. Consistently, we see that managers, companies that really try to promote balance, they really try to promote taking care of the well-being of their people, you are going to get a much higher retention rate. So really pay attention to that. And part of that is for managers to really develop what's called emotional intelligence, leadership EQ. This is what we specialize as a company. Leadership development is a huge topic. Our niche, our focus is we help measure and develop the emotional intelligence of all levels of leaders, your emerging leaders, your managers, your senior leaders, your entrepreneurs, your visionaries. And so if you want to get our free scorecard so you can measure your emotional intelligence, whether or not you're 20 or you're 50, you're 80, you want to type in below learn, type it in, learn. Somebody from our team will send it to you so you can actually measure your leadership emotional intelligence. And there is a high correlation with emotional intelligence and retention. So this is a really great free tool to kind of help you dive in. So somebody who has very high emotional intelligence, they are going to really have a much stronger connection with their team. They're going to spend the time getting to know who they are. What do they need? What do they value? I want to make sure that I take care of my team, making sure that they are having that sense of balance, and you're going to have a much higher retention. So that's number 4, everybody. Number 5 is empowerment and autonomy. It's really important. A lot of employees, they don't want to be micromanaged. Okay, micromanaging people, it feels like a parent-child relationship. You don't want that. It is really important that you empower your team and that they have some autonomy. They have some independence. They've got some breathing space. So ask yourself, how are you doing according to that one? That's number 5. Number 6, supportive management. Ask yourself, how well are you training your managers? We are consistently seeing that whether or not people stay or leave a company really has to do with the manager, the relationship they have with their managers. Different studies will say different stats, but we see generally around 70 to 80% around the loyalty that employees actually have is really with their manager less than the company. So if I've really got a really great manager and they really understand me and they promote my career development and my well-being and balance, and they're encouraging, I'm much more likely to stay in a company. Even though I may not like the overall company, but I really love my manager, guess what? I'm more likely to actually stay. So really pay attention, everybody. What are you doing in terms of really training your managers? Number 7, creating a positive work environment. Okay, so this is really important. Just this month, we're actually teaching a course on diversity, inclusion, psychological safety. How do we actually create it? What is it? And this kind of all fits part of it. But you want to make sure that your culture, what is your culture? Your culture, the look, the vibe, the energy. When your employees are at a party on Friday night and they say, well, how's your job? What are they saying about your job? What are they saying about their culture? What are the words, the descriptions that they're actually using? So you want to make sure that your culture is inclusive, it's encouraging, it's supportive. Yes, it's stretching, and yes, it can be fast-paced, but it's very positive. So that is number 7. Number 8, this is really big for the younger generation. I talk about it a lot in the book, The 3 Chairs, is around regular feedback, especially your younger generations. They want regular ongoing feedback. This is not spoon feeding. This is not babysitting. This is not coddling. I hear all kinds of objections. Feedback is the accelerator for growth. Feedback is one of the fastest ways possibly to build your emotional intelligence, because we all have blind spots. I have them, you have them, we all have them. So how often are you giving regular feedback? Get to know your teams. That's really important. Number 9, meaningful work. Again, this is going to be very popular for younger generations, that they really want to have a sense of purpose. They want to know that what they're doing is making a difference. And so talk about it from the senior leaders. Some of our clients, they have 3,000 employees, and how the CEO really communicates the purpose of them as a company is actually really important. People want to know that they are part of something bigger than themselves. They want to kind of know what this little job that I am doing, how does that actually connect to the greater organization, the purpose of our organization? So you need to talk about the meaningful work. And the final one, everybody, number 10, is talk about your well-being programs, your employee well-being programs. What are you doing in terms of really taking care of your employees? There's a huge movement that's happening. Before, it was always around, well, they should be happy they've got a job. Well, guess what? We are now living in different times, and we need to make sure that we are taking really, really good care of our employees. When we take really good care of our employees, they are going to be so loyal. Okay, so this is really important. What are you doing in terms of the well-being of your employees, whether it's with mental health or in terms of mental health days? It could be like extra vacation days. It could be kind of lunch and learns. It could be lots of variety of different things. And what are we doing to really take great care of our employees, the well-being programs. Okay, so you want to kind of pay attention to that. In my book, I give actually a bunch of examples on that. And when you kind of, what I find when we do work and coaching with different companies, it's a lot of times I find it's not just one of these, it's multiple. You have to have multiple things kind of all going off at the same time to really kind of make a dent in terms of trying to get your retention up to 90%, everybody. So that is the goal, up to 90% on your retention. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Be sure to like our YouTube channel. We've got lots of videos that are coming out all the time. And be sure to check out some of the other videos. We've got lots of videos that we do for organizations to really help develop great leaders, both in companies and families. So be sure to check out some of our other YouTube videos, and hope you've enjoyed it. And if you've actually got a suggestion with a video that you would like me to do, be sure to include that below as well. Thanks so much. And I look forward to seeing you at one of our other YouTube videos.